Thailand, of all the places.
Because my friends kept telling me about it. 10 years before I retired, my neighbor, he would always bring one of his 4 daughters or his wife here. And he kept saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And I said, when I retire, I'll do it.
How many years you've been coming to Thailand?
35.
35. And why here?
Because it's more quiet, the area is nicer. I don't like the touristy bits.
Okay, so why Thailand and not the UK?
Oh, look at the UK, my God. I've got family there, so I don't want to be too disparaging, but the world's going to shit, and hopefully Thailand's going to avoid most of that.
Kanchanaburi, Thailand. Stop number 2 for me on 30 Thai cities in 30 days. And this is the River Kwai, and then the very popular World War II landmark, the bridge over the River Kwai is directly over my shoulder. And the town itself, about 28,000 people. Where are we exactly? If you go by car, it's about 1 hour from Bangkok. If you're by motorbike, you can't take the freeway, so it's about 3 hours. Just a quick recap. If you didn't watch my first episode of 30 Thai Cities in 30 Days, I'm going through Thailand and I'm making a video in each stop. This is my second stop for this video in Kanchanaburi. I have very limited time, about 36 hours. I'm gonna go check out the historical sites from World War II, try to talk to some foreigners who live here or expat guys who live here. Go to the gym, give you a little bit of tour of the couple hotels where I stayed. So let's get started with the history, because so many people come here, tourists come here for the World War II history that happened in Kanchanaburi. There were so many prisoners of war that were located here. They say about 60,000, but there were also a lot of civilians, locals, who were put into the prisoner of war camps in forced labor. So let's get started with the history. There's like a museum over here, a death railway museum. There's the cemetery. There's the Hellfire Pass. American flag. Yeah, Americans were lost in Hellfire Pass. And this is what the Japanese wanted to do. They wanted to build a railway through here to dominate their presence in Asia. But it's called Hellfire Pass. And it might be one of the most significant symbols of World War II, along with the bridge on River Kwai, which was made famous by a movie. But they say there's a lot of inaccuracies in the Hollywood version, that the reality is quite different. And I think this tells the story right here, where so many men were killed, prisoners of war, killed meaning they were into forced labor, and they had to, by hand, dig down deep, hammer these like stakes by hand. Meanwhile, they were malnourished. And then they would stick dynamite in there and slowly, inch by inch, blow this open. And you see these mementos. Prisoner of war, 1943, Charles Gunner. Died September 2nd, 1943. So I'm about an hour outside of Kanchanaburi. I rode my motorbike here. It took about an hour. I went kind of the back way because I wanted to see old remnants of, say, Japan. And there are some homes that you'll pass along the way that are about 90 years old, that were probably built by the Japanese. And it's just a reminder of history in this area of Thailand, World War II history. And now it's popular with tourism. A lot of people come, and you can see they pay their respects here. Hellfire Pass Memorial. A lot of Australians were lost in this area. And then we have the America Prisoner of War Memorial. 690 prisoners, Americans, labored for the Japanese captors. And most of the American prisoners of war were captured on Java and the Dutch East Indies. And the one paragraph there says, the section of the railway known as Hellfire Pass, a stark reminder of the grueling conditions experienced by Allied prisoners of war and the thousands of Asian civilians forced to labor for the Japanese. And I'll say this, I can't imagine being stuck in here, malnourished, less than 1,000 calories a day, laboring all day because it's hot You have all these insects flying around. It must have been so brutal. And the elements are brutal out here. They can be super brutal. And you can see here the memorial. It says Burma-Thailand Railway, 1942 to 1945. In remembrance of all those who suffered and all who died. And you can see the reminder here where they probably drove the stakes in right here. You can actually see before they inserted probably the dynamite. But it's so grueling when you look up. It's just how high this thing goes. Just the rock that they had to chisel away at by hand. And just in these conditions with almost no clothing, with all the insects, the heat, it's hot. You feel like you're in a Death Valley in this part of Thailand. It just feels hot and uncomfortable. Couldn't imagine having to do it under those conditions. And then you think about how a lot didn't survive, a lot died. So they said, I think, 60,000 prisoners of war, and even locals that they were held as captive, 60,000 or so. Why do you come to this location right here, Hellfire Pass?
Actually, I went to the Death Railway yesterday, and I was checking the story behind that.
Okay.
I was pretty shocked about that, and I realized that I want to come here again in this area because I'm living in Kanchanaburi in the center.
You live in Kanchanaburi?
Yeah, I'm staying. Sorry.
For how long?
The last 3 days.
What's your? You travel the world, so what's your first impression of Kanchanaburi?
It's a nice place.
Why do you like
place.
it?
I think it's more local. It's more, it's not very touristy. It's more for explorers like me and you probably. It's a pure adventure and you have lots of stuff to do around here. So it's a nice place.
How are you? Where are you from? Taiwan. Awesome place. Good. You are from Kaohsiung? You look like you're from Kaohsiung. You know? You're from Kaohsiung, right? Kaohsiung? Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
See you guys. Some nice folks from Taiwan. Taiwan, good place. So we are on the Death Railway, right? Look how beautiful it is, though. So nice. Oh, you got some guys down here swimming. Check this out. I mean, it's really beautiful. I think I see some guys down there swimming. Tell you what, it's beautiful out here. You forget about all the suffering that happened here to build this thing. They didn't call it the Death Railway for nothing. And it's still used. It's quite beautiful, in fact, here along the river. Wow, something else. It's peaceful, I'll tell you what. You come out here and it's quite peaceful. Look down here. Guys swimming, floating down the river. Huh? Wow. The Death Railway. Kanchanaburi, Thailand, there's all this World War II history. On that note, it's very special. You think about all the prisoners of war who walked right along here, who worked, who died. It's called the Death Railway Museum, but they were pretty strict. They didn't allow video, but I did take a few pictures. And it's definitely worth a visit when you're here. It really lays out what happened during World War II and how the Japanese would take the prisoners of war. They took 60,000 prisoners of war here to build that railway, to expand their reach throughout Asia. And I think the number is about 15,000 prisoners of war died here. But when you go in there, it kind of really lays out the history A lot of visuals, pictures of the prisoners of war. It showed how Japan, their plan for taking over the rest of Asia. And then it shows when the Allied troops started coming in and defeating the Japanese, but definitely a worthwhile stop. The Death Railway Museum. And then right across the street is the cemetery where soldiers are buried. You know, a funny story, guys. Came out here, we put the drone up, thought it was a good idea. Anyway, you can see it cruised around and landed in a tree. Now, these guys helped me find it. You know, it got stuck in a tree.
Okay,
So-
start. No.
Have good luck, I think, today. I think the battery is dead, but I think it's still in good shape. I can pick up. So continuing from the museum, I should clarify, I said soldiers, prisoners of war, so all foreign soldiers. And it's pretty sombering. A lot of pain and suffering happened in this area of the world. A lot of prisoners of war were brutally tortured and forced labor camps, really horrible, horrific. And it's just, and you're just reminded of all the soldiers who died constructing the railway, being forced to construct the railway for the Japanese so Japan could further their expansion around the world and throughout Asia. My father was in World War II, and he's buried in Arlington. See the ages of the soldiers who died here in this part of the world during World War II, 23, 25, 23. And I don't know if all my facts are correct, if historical facts. I'm running through 30 Thai cities in 30 days, so didn't have time to do deep research, but I think the number of Americans that were here working on the railroad, or forced to work on the railroad for the Japanese, were about 650. And I want to say, might be wrong here, maybe 30 died or 50. But most of the workers, I think a lot of them were English. They got captured, I think, in Singapore, and then they were sent here, prisoners of war. They were promised beautiful camps, or not beautiful, but you know, where you could actually live. And it was anything but. They say it was more like a concentration camp. So, age 33, 26, age 22, age 34, man, age 21, man, almost 15,000 soldiers died. Something a little bit quirky I find about Kanchanaburi, although it's a very small town or village of 27,000 people. In fact, there's a little Farong Soi, a little Farong street. It has a lot of nightlife, I think, in proportion to the actual population. So we're gonna go check that out too. Yeah, so it's this whole strip. There's another place here called, I think it's called Easy Bar. Easy Bar. Good.
Hello, welcome to Easy Bar.
Kanchanaburi.
Yeah.
Easy Bar. So nice. Sorry, Cup. You are from Kanchanaburi? So we make our way down the strip. You can see there's even more bars here. I feel like there's an unusually high proportion of Motown, that's a good name. Motown. Good. What kind of music? What kind of music? Motown. Okay. I'll come back. Yeah. Thank you. D&D massage, food and drink, more Farongs. Seems just unusual. I haven't seen anything like this where You only have 27,000 people in this village, but there's an unusual amount of places, lounges, and expats and farangs, whatever you want to call them. What's this place called? Cha Bar Ban. The couple hotels where I've been staying at Kanchanaburi, I was here 2 nights. So I stayed at 2 different places. Last night here and the previous night at a different one. I'll give you a quick tour. But I just want to emphasize that I was just back home in the US, and in regard to value, you get so much more for what you pay here in Thailand compared to being home. I was in New York. For a mediocre hotel room, they wanted $800 a night. I was in Dallas, they wanted $300 a night or higher. And my first night here, I stopped just across the river here, and it was a beautiful property, $60 per night. I arrived in Kanchanaburi a night early, so ended up getting a quick room for the night to get some rest. And just reminded once again the value that we get in Thailand compared to like when I was just back in the US. So for this hotel here, it's really nice. And you have the pool on the roof, and then a great view. We're right next to the River Kwai. And $60 a night. Dining area, nice courtyard. Almost has that Arizona Biltmore vibe. But yeah, $60 a night. You can't beat the value. For the American guys watching this, you go home and you try to go enjoy nights out at a hotel and go out for meals, and it gets really expensive. I think you could almost pay for your entire trip to Thailand if you're here for 2 or 3 weeks and experience kind of 4 or 5 star lodging and food for a fraction of the cost that you pay back home. So I stopped by the gym here in Kanchanaburi. I met Rusty. Rusty's from Michigan. He comes to Thailand, 4 months out of the year?
I come usually 2 months in the fall and 3 months in the winter. 5 months.
66 years old.
Yeah.
American expat, living his best life.
Yeah.
Thai girlfriend.
And not an expat. I actually live in America. This is a visit for me.
Hey, that's
here.
a good point.
Yeah.
So how do we define expat? I guess somebody who lives more months out of the year in Thailand?
Yeah.
Then-
Or actually kind of has moved here.
So
is
you actually
what I
split your
consider an
time.
expat. Yeah, I split my time. Can't leave Michigan in the fall. Usually I've been coming for 2 months in the fall, but I've been missing Michigan too much in the fall. So this year I skipped it, and I'm doing 4 months in the winter, January, February, March, April, because I usually go home in April, beginning of April, and I watch the snow blow sideways across my yard, and I go, why did I come home? So this year I'm staying a little
Hey,
later.
Rusty, why do you like it here?
In Thailand in general?
Kanchanaburi, why here? Of all places, because
yeah.
you said you were in Samui.
Yeah. No, Samui is Samui. Everyone loves Samui, right?
Yeah.
Especially Lamai. But Kanchanaburi here, a friend invited me here, came here, enjoyed it so much I cut one of my vacations to Samui short so I could come back. First time I came to Kanch here. So I've always enjoyed it after that. There's a lot of great expats here. We all get along well. They live here year round. They've decided to come here and live here year round. Now, Kanchanaburi is really hot.
Yeah, it feels hot. Actually, it feels a little bit like Buriram to me, over there in Isan. But a question for you, so with that being said, what do you do for enjoyment when you're here?
Well, hit the gym,
Yeah, you stay in shape?
Spend my time coming to the gym. You can't sit in the bar all day. Well, I mean, I can, but I try not to, right? But I golf. My friends will take me golfing. We'll go fishing, all different kinds of fishing. If you want to catch the big ones, we'll catch the big ones. If you want to go catch the small ones, we'll catch the small ones. I went prong fishing the other night. And they clean them and cook them right on the barbie for you right there, and it was just fantastic, unbelievable. So there's a lot of things to do here. There's a lot of things to keep you busy.
How many years you been coming to Thailand?
I retired January 3rd, 2017. I got on a plane to Bangkok January 4th, 2017.
Why Thailand, of all the places?
Because my friends kept telling me about it. 10 years before I retired, my neighbor, he would always bring one of his 4 daughters or his wife here. And he kept saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And I said, when I retire, I'll do it. So day after I retired, I did it. I got on a plane and came to Bangkok.
No regrets?
None. Now I come 2 times a year, right? Yeah.
See your Detroit, Michigan ball cap.
Yeah.
So good life. Now, do you think in the future you'll spend more time in Kanchanaburi during the year? more months?
No.
You'll keep balancing.
Yeah, I'll keep
back and
balancing. I can't leave my family and my home and my
have
friends
kids
and my
back home?
neighbors. Yeah.
How many
I got
kids?
a beautiful daughter, Nicole.
And you have
And I'm not
grandchildren?
telling you her age. I'll definitely be in trouble. No grandkids, no.
Okay.
But I'm very close to my family. We're a tight-knit family. So.
What do you tell the guys who are watching this back home in the U.S. that are considering Thailand or have heard of Thailand? What do you tell them?
Consider coming to Thailand, do it. Don't hesitate. Get on a plane and come on over. But before you do, talk to people because that have been here, because they'll know where to send you, where not to send you, in accordance to what you're looking for.
Yeah, you're right.
You can end up some places you might not want to
And
be.
I think as an expat, I'll say this, that each place in Thailand, there's so many places to choose from as an expat here. For example, you have the main four, which are Pattaya, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, maybe Phuket. But then you have so many like secondary places, whether it's Samui, Krabi, Hua Hin.
Yeah.
Do you like Samui or because you were there quite a bit, here or there?
I prefer coming to Kanchanaburi more now. Samui, the flavors changed a little bit, and it's gotten a little,
flavors
little bigger.
That's what I say about Phuket.
And Lamai Beach is still nice and quiet. If you want to go out and have a good time at night, you can go out and have a good time at night. Without getting into the crazy, like some places, no matter where you go, it's just crazy. Whereas Lamai, it's a little more laid back, and yeah.
It's funny you say about the good time, and I think I know what you're referring to. But even when I'm here in Kanchanaburi, I'm only here 24 hours. But when I went down the main drag last night, it looks like some expat guys are having a good time down there too. There's all these little bars.
Oh, it was probably a good night last night. Yeah.
So, well, Rusty, man, thanks for taking.
Oh,
takes
my
a minute.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Get back to your workout.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's a great gym. It's called DNA Gym. It's awesome for just about $3. Come in for a day pass, and it's like physical therapy for me because as much time as I'm spending on the motorbike, hours a day, the only thing that keeps my body feeling relatively good is these stops in the gym, these little day passes. All this action going on in Kanchanaburi on a morning here, and I walked up here, I met Mark. Mark is from UK, lived in Australia 30 years, now living in Thailand 4 years. Why the heck Kanchanaburi? I'm so curious.
Having travelled around, I just recently did a trip down south Surat.
I stay in Surat.
Oh, you did?
I know, I live there.
Oh,
That's where my
really?
base is.
Well, I'm going back there. I found somewhere to live.
What do you mean?
Kidding me? I've seen a spot on the beach.
In Chichon,
No, the other side.
on Kanom.
No, I can't remember the name.
Okay, yeah, I
Quite
stay in Surat.
Okay. Back.
Yeah.
That's why I live in Thailand is the opportunity to travel is
Okay.
very easy,
Yeah, to
very
explore.
affordable, and you've only got to go 50 kilometers and there's something wonderful to see.
Okay, Mark, back to the question. Why here?
Kanchanaburi, it's a quiet town, a little bit touristy, you get a bit of a vibe. Certain times of year, the festival's a wonderful time, the Light and Show Festival in November. The river's always here, the activities going on.
If somebody comes to visit Kanchanaburi, you said you're not a bar guy.
Right.
And I've been seeing a lot of it. At night when I drove up here last night,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of farongs out there drinking.
Yeah, there is
And that's not me.
Right.
But it does seem like there's a community.
There is a community
Of late
here,
night
absolutely.
farangs.
But let's say the more, there is a community of elderly farang.
Elderly farongs.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you called them elderly. I said late night.
Okay.
No, but it's funny you said that because when I was driving to my hotel last night, I said this reminds me of a different mode of retirement home.
Well, they are more. I'm a young boy here.
You are young. I was looking at the guys last night.
No, I'm 64.
Makes you feel
So
young?
I'm not young, yeah. So.
Okay, so why Thailand and not the UK?
Oh, look at the UK. My God, I've got family there, so I don't want to be too disparaging, but the world's going to shit, and hopefully Thailand's going to avoid most of that.
You know what, man? I just came from a loop through South America, North America, the Middle East, and Africa. And I'll tell you this. The whole world's changing.
Absolutely.
But Thailand it also is changing.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it still has preserved
yes.
a certain joy.
I hope so. And at
And-
a smaller pace. I mean, what's gone
That's
last
right.
week's just crazy. So
That's right.
who knows
And this
where
is the
it
wife.
goes. This is my wife, Annie.
Hello, Annie. Annie, where are you from?
From here.
Kanchanaburi.
Born south.
Born South Chompon.
Champong. I will be there also in this. I'm doing 30 Thai cities in 30 days. And Champong's going to be toward the end, right by Suratani. Well, listen, Mark, nice chatting. I'm
You
going to
too.
keep going about my day, and
Okay.
I'll see you in Suratani.
You will.
Yeah, sure.
Let me know.
Okay.
Let me know your blog number.
Phum Riang.
Phum Riang.
Phum Riang là bị
Okay. Phum Riang. Phum Riang Beach.
Pumbiang. Okay.
Where I'm going.
Have a great day.
Okay, you too, buddy.
Expat, foreign place here called the Avenue. But you have this whole strip here. It's almost like a mini Pattaya. Hey, mate, from the gym. I saw you at the gym. I saw Tony at the gym today. He's from Belgium.
Yes.
How many years you been coming to Thailand?
Oh, 35.
35. And why here?
Because it's more quiet. The area is nicer. I don't like the touristy bits.
Where else have you experienced?
Everywhere in Thailand.
And you pick here.
Yes. Just, well, not this. I'm just out for a drink. But I like the quiet, not this kind of thing. I like the quiet. I like the nature. I like the temples.
Huh.
So it's.
But why not like Isan, Khon Kaen, or
Well, yeah, been to Khon Kaen. No, that's a big city. It's don't like it.
don't like it?
I like the quiet. It's just many go to Pattaya or Phuket.
Right.
but no, not my thing.
No, I agree.
It's a crazy here.
And I think, don't you think Thailand makes us feel younger?
Yes,
Me too.
definitely. If I see
Me
people
too.
from my age back home, they sound like very old.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They don't. Well, in my opinion, they don't live. You know, they just exist and they don't do anything.
Funny you just said that. They don't live, they just exist. I feel more alive in Thailand
Yeah.
than I do when I'm in the West. Any Western country.
But also back home at the moment, it's winter time, so there's nothing to do.
No, and it's cold.
There's nothing to do.
Listen, the cold never
can
does
go
anything
out.
good for us once we're over 50. See ya, Tony. But I chose this for last night because I wanted to be along the river, wake up and see the bridge over River Kwai and kind of enjoy this setting. It's quite nice. There's a beautiful swimming pool over here. They have a great breakfast. The hotel staff is awesome. They greeted me and took me to my room, and I think overall, you just look at a property like this, and it's hard to beat. $80, and the previous night, I would definitely go back to that hotel for $60 a night. And the question I'm answering on each vlog for this series, 30 Thai Cities in 30 Days, is, would I live here? Kanchanaburi, 28,000 people population. But what's interesting about it is, it gets an influx of foreigners all the time because of the tourism. And you have an interesting type, I think, of the tourists because they're usually curious about World War II history. So I think the kind of tourists you get here, they may be more interested in the education, the historical side, versus going to, say, Phuket or Pattaya and where they want to party, right? So I think that part's kind of interesting. But as far as a town itself, it's not one I would choose to live. So it's not on my list. I do want to come back though and spend more time. 36 hours is too short. I would like to kind of marinate a little bit deeper into the history here. 30 Thai cities in 30 days. Where am I to next? Next, I will go to Untitled. So it's kind of a longer motorbike ride. It's going to be over 3 hours. And I will catch up with you on the third episode of 30 Thai cities in 30 days. If you want a more detailed version about my 30 Thai cities in 30 days, you can visit my blog on the borderlessoffice.com on the website. And I'm writing a more kind of detailed article blog version of each stop along the way. Everyone, I'll see you on the next episode coming to you from Untitled.